ever felt like there's a full-on civil war happening inside your own head? One part of you is this master strategist, planning out your future, scheduling that workout, and the other part is a total rebel who just wants to binge watch a new series on the couch. Well, what if I told you that war is not just a feeling? It's a very real battle that's literally hardwired into your biology. Okay, let's get into this.
I mean, who hasn't, right? It's that awful, heavy feeling when you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, but it feels like you're trying to walk through mud. So you give up, you call yourself lazy, and you just add that to the pile of guilt.
But here's an idea that could change everything for you. What if it's not a character flaw at all? What if you're not lazy? What if that whole struggle is actually a fundamental design conflict? See, you're a modern human trying to operate with an ancient brain. And honestly, they were built for two completely different worlds. And that brings us to the core of this whole thing, what I like to call the laziness lie. We're about to completely take that idea apart piece by piece by looking at the hard science of how your brain is actually built. And look, this isn't some motivational poster talking. This is a neurobiological fact. The idea that discipline is literally fighting against your brain's basic programming might sound like a pretty convenient excuse, but the science here is crystal clear. Your brain wasn't designed for spreadsheets and 5-year plans. No, it was designed for something way more immediate. And that one thing? Survival. That's it. For millions of years, the human brain was being fine-tuned for a pretty harsh world. It got really, really good at 3 things: conserving energy whenever possible, seeking out quick, immediate rewards, and avoiding any and all effort that wasn't about staying alive right now. It's a survival machine, not a productivity app.
So this is where that inner civil war really kicks off. It's a clash of titans between 2 deeply programmed parts of you. You've got the ancient primal hunter-gatherer versus the modern goal-oriented supercomputer. This lays out the conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got the hunter-gatherer. This part is millions of years old. It runs on pure instinct. Its only job is to keep you safe and comfortable on the couch, saving every single calorie. But on the other side, you've got the supercomputer. That's the rational, modern you. It's the part that wants to learn, to grow, to plan for retirement, and to drag you to the gym. And these two, they are in a constant, brutal tug of war for who's in charge. So who usually wins this war? Yeah, it's the hunter-gatherer. And it wins because of a fundamental law of neuroscience, something called cognitive ease. Think of cognitive ease as your brain's factory default setting. It is an unconscious, automatic reflex. When it's faced with 2 choices, your brain will, almost every single time, take the path of least resistance, the one that burns fewer calories both mentally and physically. It's not worried about your long-term goals. It's worried about making it through the next 5 minutes as efficiently as possible. So let's visualize this. When your supercomputer says, hey, let's finish that huge project, your primal hunter-gatherer brain doesn't see a great opportunity for growth. Nope. It sees a gigantic icy mountain peak, completely covered in fog. It feels the wind, it senses the danger, and it basically calculates a catastrophic waste of precious energy. And so it sounds all the alarms and slams on the emergency brake hard. Meanwhile, that phone that just buzzed, to your primal brain, that is not a distraction. Oh no, that is a 6-lane downhill superhighway lit up with neon signs promising instant dopamine hits with 0 effort. So from a purely biological standpoint, the choice is a complete no-brainer. Your brain isn't choosing to be lazy, it's choosing to be incredibly efficient. And this is precisely why our favorite strategy, just using more willpower, is absolutely doomed to fail. We think we just need to push harder, but what we're really doing is bringing a pocket knife to a neurobiological gunfight. I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Think about that. Your to-do list and a couple of motivational quotes are going up against an operating system that has been debugged and perfected for survival over millions of years. It is a completely unfair fight right from the start. And we have all lived this exact cycle. You use sheer force of will to start climbing that icy mountain. Your primal brain immediately starts screaming in protest. The internal battle is exhausting, right? And what happens when we're exhausted? The control from our supercomputer starts to flicker and die. So your brain shifts into autopilot. And that autopilot has only one destination programmed in, that brightly lit downhill superhighway of distraction. So here's the key takeaway. That exhaustion, that guilt, that feeling of being a total failure, that's not a sign that you're weak.
It is the predictable, totally inevitable results of using the wrong strategy. You were trying to win a war by charging straight at an enemy that is older, stronger, and way more deeply ingrained than your conscious mind could ever hope to be.
Which, of course, brings us to the million-dollar question. If just gritting our teeth and trying to force our way through is a losing game, then how do we ever get anything done? How do we win this inner civil war? Well, the answer isn't about fighting harder, it's all about fighting smarter. It's about becoming a strategist who outthinks the opponent, not just a soldier who charges in blindly. And that is exactly what we are going to dive into next. So if you want to learn how to finally work with your brain's programming instead of constantly fighting against it, make sure you like this explainer and subscribe for part 2. You were never broken, you just had the wrong instruction manual. All right, welcome back. So last time we dug into why just gritting your teeth and using willpower is pretty much guaranteed to fail. Now we get to the fun part, the solution. And here's the spoiler. It's not about trying harder, it's about getting way smarter. Remember, we established that forcing yourself to be disciplined is basically like picking a fight with millions of years of evolution. I mean, your brain is hardwired to do 3 things: save energy, grab quick rewards, and avoid hard work. It's not a character flaw. It's just biology. So that brings us to the big question, right? If just pushing through is a losing battle, if fighting our own nature is a losing game, what on earth are we supposed to do to actually get the important stuff done? The answer, it's just one word, and it's a powerful one: design. See, the most productive and consistent people out there, they aren't superhuman. They don't have more motivation than you. They are simply better behavioral engineers. They've stopped fighting their brain and started redesigning the world around it. And this right here, this visualizes the core conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got your brain's ancient operating system. Its primary goal, conserve energy. But on the other side, you've got your professional life, which demands you deliver complex projects and maintain focus. It's like trying to run brand new high-tech software on a computer from 1995. That gap, that fundamental mismatch, that is where all procrastination comes from. James Clear just nails it with this quote. If you're always waiting to feel motivated to do something, your whole system is broken. The real driver of what you do day in and day out isn't some fleeting internal drive. It's the environment you're operating in.
Okay, so if we're going to be engineers, we need tools. And our first tool is something called choice architecture. Now, it sounds a little technical, but the idea is actually super simple. It's all about strategically designing the context where we make our decisions.
Here's the best way to think about it. Your brain is like water. It's always going to flow down the path of least resistance. Now, choice architecture doesn't try to build a dam to stop it. No way. Instead, it just carves a new, smoother channel so that path of least resistance leads exactly where you want it to go. The whole goal is to make the right choice the lazy choice. Let me give you a perfect, real-world example. There was this famous study in a cafeteria. Picture this. The main drink fridges, right at eye level by the checkout, were packed with soda. Sure, you could get water, but it was kind of hidden off to the side. The results? Well, they were exactly what you'd expect. 3/4 of all the drinks people bought were soda. Then, the researchers made one tiny, almost invisible change. They didn't do any big health campaign, no posters, no lectures, nothing like that. All they did was add water bottles to those main eye-level fridges and put baskets of water right next to all the food stations. And check out what happened. It's wild. Water sales shot through the roof, and soda sales tanked. Nobody had to try to be healthier. The environment was just redesigned to make water the obvious, easy choice, and people's behavior changed automatically. No willpower needed whatsoever. Now, what's really cool is that this design principle isn't just for physical spaces. We can apply the exact same thinking to engineer our professional workflows. And this is where we can hijack our brain's existing autopilot using a technique called habit stacking. Think about it. Your workday is already full of these automatic little loops, right? You finish a call, you immediately check your email, you get your morning coffee, you sit down and open your laptop. Habit stacking is brilliant because it doesn't try to force a brand new routine from scratch. Instead, it just cleverly attaches a new habit you want to do onto one of those triggers that's already happening on autopilot. We call this neural coupling, and you can picture it like 2 gears meshing together. You have this big gear, your existing habit, like finishing a team call, and it's already spinning effortlessly. All you do is slot in a tiny new gear, like Spend 2 minutes updating the project status right next to it. The momentum from the big gear automatically starts turning the little one. After my team call just flows right into update the status. It becomes one seamless automatic action. All right, so we've got our tools, choice architecture, and habit stacking. Now we need the blueprint, right? The actual instructions for how to build these systems. And it all comes down to 4 simple laws that determine if a habit is going to stick or if you'll just give up on it. And this is maybe the most important takeaway of all. Procrastination is not a character flaw. It's a design flaw. When you find yourself putting something off, it's just a signal. It's your brain telling you that the task you're avoiding is violating one or more of these 4 laws. It's either too hidden, too unappealing, way too hard, or just not satisfying. I mean, just look at the contrast here. It's night and day. On the left, you've got that typical high-friction workday. The project plan is buried somewhere in your inbox, your phone's buzzing, everything takes effort just to get started. But on the right, that's an engineered workday. The tab you need is already open, your focus music is ready to play. The goal isn't some huge, daunting thing. It's just write 1 paragraph. It's easy, and you get to check it off a list, which is satisfying. Who do you think is going to be more productive? It has 0 to do with strength and everything to do with smart design. And all of this leads to a really fundamental shift in how you see yourself. The goal here is to stop thinking, I need more discipline, and start thinking, I'm an engineer, and my job is to design a better system for myself. Because here's the real secret. Consistency doesn't come from passion. It doesn't come from motivation. Those feelings come and go. Real consistency comes from a well-designed structure. A good system is what carries you through on the days you just don't feel like it, which, if we're being honest, is probably most days. This next quote is one I really want you to let sink in. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. It's so true. Your goals are great, they point you in the right direction, but they don't actually determine your results. Your daily automated systems do. Your future isn't defined by what you hope to do, it's defined by what you do automatically, today. And you know what? This is probably the most freeing idea of them all. You don't have to love every single part of your job. You don't have to be passionate about every tedious task. Your goal isn't to love the work. Your goal is to make doing it inevitable. To design a system where it's simply the easiest, most logical next thing to do. So let's make this practical. I'll leave you with one question to start engineering your own workday. What is the single biggest point of friction you face? What's that one little annoying thing that, if you could just remove it, would make your most important work just a tiny bit easier, a little more inevitable? Find that one thing and start right there.
All right, welcome to the final piece of the puzzle in our guide to redesigning your environment. We've talked about changing your space, but now we're going to get to the real heart of it. We're going to uncover the one thing that makes change actually stick for good, even when you feel like giving up.
So let's just kick things off with a question you've probably heard a million times, especially if you're into productivity stuff. Do you really have to love the grind? Do you have to wake up every day just thrilled about the struggle to be consistent?
Well, what if I told you that whole idea, while it sounds super motivating on Instagram, is actually wrong? And not just wrong, it's dangerous. For most of us, it's incredibly demotivating and basically sets us up to fail from the get-go.
Yeah, we're constantly bombarded with this message to fall in love with the routine. But here's the honest-to-goodness truth, and it's actually a huge relief. You do not need to like discipline to make it a huge part of your life. Let that sink in.
So why is this myth so bad? Well, first off, it assumes your motivation is this endless well you can just draw from. It's not. Our feelings go up and down. So if your actions depend on feeling good, you're going to be stuck in this awful cycle of starting, stopping, and then feeling guilty about it. It just doesn't work. So here's the real secret. The most disciplined, consistent people you know, they are not superhuman. They don't have some secret stash of willpower. What they have are better systems. They've built a structure around themselves that makes the right things happen almost on autopilot, especially on those days where they feel zero motivation.
Okay, so let's really break this down. Let's look at the huge difference between trying to run on that fickle feeling of motivation versus building a solid, reliable system.
Think of it like this, okay? Motivation is like a tiny spark. You have to keep striking it over and over, hoping it catches fire. It is exhausting. A system, on the other hand, that's like a well-built engine. Sure, you've got to put in the work to design and build it up front, but once it's running, it just goes, no matter how you're feeling that day.
And this quote from James Clear just absolutely nails it.
Your big, ambitious goals, they're great, but they're not what carries you through. You will always fall back to the level of your daily systems. That system is your safety net. It's what catches you when your willpower fails. So this changes everything, right? The goal has to shift completely. We need to stop trying to force ourselves to love the burn of a workout or the difficulty of studying. The real goal is to design a life where doing the right thing is just easier than not doing it. You want to make it inevitable.
But there's one final layer to this. It's the deepest level, the one that ties your systems and your actions all together and makes the change permanent. And that, my friends, is your identity.
You see, real, lasting change doesn't come from forcing yourself to do something. It comes when you start to fundamentally see yourself as a different person. It's the shift from thinking, I'm trying to be someone who eats healthy, to knowing, deep down, I am a healthy person.
And this might be the most powerful concept of them all. Every single action you take, no matter how small it seems, is a vote. It's a piece of evidence you're handing to your own brain, a little confirmation of the person you're becoming.
So what does this actually look like? It's simple. When you choose to read just one page of a book instead of scrolling on your phone, you just cast a vote for I am a reader. When you put your workout clothes out the night before, you cast a vote for I'm an athlete. You are literally, with every tiny choice, stuffing the ballot box for the future you.
And this is where the magic really happens, because it creates this amazing, self-reinforcing cycle. The more you act like the person you want to be, the more you start to truly believe you are that person. And once you believe it, acting that way becomes even easier. It's a beautiful upward spiral.
So when this identity shift really takes hold, the entire game just changes. That constant struggle you used to feel, it starts to fade into the background.
And this is the ultimate payoff. Discipline is no longer this thing you have to wrestle with every single day. It just becomes a natural side effect of who you are and the systems you've built. It's simply what you do now.
So as we wrap all this up, remember this key idea. The end game isn't to live a life of rigid self-control where you're constantly forcing yourself to do things you hate. It's something so much more powerful than that. The goal is to get to a point where you don't even have to try to be disciplined anymore. You just are. Your actions just flow naturally and effortlessly from your new identity. Going for a run isn't a chore. It's just what runners do. So I'll leave you with one final question. I want you to stop waiting for that perfect wave of motivation to hit you. It's not coming. Your transformation begins right now with one tiny, intentional action. So what's it going to be? What is the first vote you will cast for your new identity today?